Hey, what's up guys, it's Nick2. I am on the Outriders demo right now where we're actually able to get a select few amount of legendary weapons, which I'm sure many of you are already aware of. And us being able to get these legendary weapons gives us a short glimpse into what legendary weapons are going to look like later in the game, and just a glimpse into the system overall. But something that we aren't able to see, actually, if you weren't already aware, is legendary armor. This is something that is coming in the game, particularly in the form of legendary gear sets. So I figured that today we would take a look at those because I haven't really seen many videos about them, and I think it's actually insanely interesting. A few days ago I decided to take a look at some of the legendary gear sets and read them, and I actually learned a lot, but the implications of them are really cool and it got me really excited. So I just want to share that excitement with you guys, because that's actually where the grunt of making the builds is actually within those legendary gear sets and all those armor mods and stuff. So got me really excited, and I really wanted to share some of it with you guys. Of course, there's way more gear sets to come. The legendary gear sets that I'm going to show you guys, there's a select there's one for each class, being the Trickster, Techno, Pyro, and Devastator. These aren't data mined. These were actually assets given to me via Square Enix. They have like an ambassador program, and they pretty much just sent out a bunch of content creators, or they sent a bunch of assets to content creators. And some of these assets are some of the gear sets for each of the classes. Of course, there's going to be way more when the game comes out. There is this data mined, pretty much just like spreadsheet of everything that's going to come out. This is just like a spreadsheet of all the mods, weapons that we at least currently know of, and stuff that's data mined. And this also has some of the legendary gear sets included in it. I'll leave a link to this down in the description if you're interested in reading through all of this. But of course, this is data mined, so keep it with a grain of salt. Please don't email me at this email. But yeah, let's just get into it. I'm just going to go over the images that were shared with me, and we're just going to take a look at them. So of course, like I was saying earlier, there's 4 sets. Actually, let me close out my game. Okay, there's 4 sets. First, we're going to look at the, there it goes. First, we're going to look at the Chrono Suit, which is a set for the Trickster, and then we'll take a look at all the other ones. I'll read through all the stuff, but first off, let's just take a look at what legendary sets actually are. So as you can see, this is what the set looks like. Pretty cool, blah, blah, blah. No one cares. Let's see what it actually does. So one of the most important, or rather impactful things, is that you actually have set bonuses. So as you can see here, Chrono Suit Mask, legendary headgear. Just like with legendary guns, it rolls with 3 random rolls. This one has bonus firepower, close range damage, and healing received. I imagine that these are going to be random, just like they are with weapons, so you'll be incentivized to grind out a lot of legendary pieces to try to get the perfect roll. Obviously, there's 2 mods here, which we'll talk about in a second, but one of the coolest things about legendary gear in general, or at least what I found really interesting, is that there's actually bonuses for having pieces of this gear on. So as you can see, we have a 3-piece bonus active here for having 3 pieces of Chrono Suit on, and it says right here, Chrono Suit, what the 3-piece does. Actually, let me move my camera so you guys can see the full thing here. The name will be covered up for the rest of them, but I'll just read it out to you guys. Actually, maybe I'll just move my camera over here. I don't know where to put it. I'll just put it right here. Ooh, okay. So as you can see, for having 3 pieces of Chrono Suit, anytime that you revert time, it's going to fully replenish ammo in your clip. If you guys weren't aware, there is an ability for Trickster called Borrowed Time, where basically you place yourself in a certain spot, and then if you activate the ability again, you'll go back to where you had placed the ability initially. It has a pretty low cooldown. We don't have it yet in the demo, but anytime that you're going to press that button where you revert back to where you were previously, it's going to replenish ammo in your clip. If you pair this ability with some of the mods that are on this set, of course these mods, you can deconstruct them and put them on any set, but I believe that some of these are going to be fixed rolls for the legendary gear, just like they are fixed rolls with the legendary weapons. You can probably swap them out, but I imagine that both the mods are fixed, and you'll probably want to hold on to one of the tier 3 mods. But as you can see, one of the tier 3 mods is that Borrowed Time, reverting time, creates an explosion around you, blah, blah, blah. And then you also get something towards Twisted Round. So basically this whole set is built around you using Borrowed Time, pairing it with Twisted Rounds, keeping ammo in your clip, etc, etc. We'll take a look at some of the other mods, but that's a general premise for all of these gear sets, is that the gear set has a specific bonus that is revolving around 1 or 2 abilities, and then your mods that it has a fixed roll on, those mods will be revolving around those abilities as well, which I think is really cool, because kind of by default you get these rolls that already almost make a build, but it's like a loose form of the build, and you get to play around and mess with it. but I think having the 3-piece bonus is a really cool way of adding depth to the gearing system. This one isn't particularly great because there's probably a lot of other ways to get ammo for twisted rounds and having permanent ammo, but some of the other legendary sets that we'll take a look at are actually very good. The Trickster ones, I looked at all of them, or at least the ones that are data mined. They seem to be pretty underwhelming, but regardless, let's take a look at the next piece. So this is the upper chrono suit, the chest piece. Death Shell, borrowed time. Killing enemies while borrowed time is active reduces incoming weapon damage by 10% and anomaly damage by 10% for 10 seconds. Buff is removed at the end of the skill, so obviously this just gives you a lot of survivability when paired with, or when you're using your borrowed time. This is the rank 3 mod on this one. And then we just have additional mag, twisted rounds. The skill is effective for 2 magazines before triggering the cooldown. Only rank 1, but as you can see, the build is trying to be built around, or sorry, the legendary armor is specifically being built around by default borrowed time and twisted rounds. Taking a look at the next piece, the legs here. Ammo bargain, this one is actually pretty good. When the skill is active, killing shots replenish 20% of your ammo in your magazine. I think this mod by itself kind of nullifies needing chrono suit bonus as a result, but regardless. And then the next one is Armor of Eons. Borrowed time activating the skill increases your armor by 100%. So you basically are just getting a lot of survivability with some of these mods with borrowed time, and then some of that extra damage output via twisted rounds. And then the next one, Shield of the Fallen. When twisted rounds ends, add 15% of your maximum health as shield for each enemy you killed. You could probably get a massive amount of shield with this. And then we have, which actually what I found very interesting, and I actually didn't know this prior to looking at these, Diffuse. Sprinting increases your armor, blah blah blah. This one isn't particularly great, but this means that there's general mods for armor, just like there is general mods with weapons, right? I didn't actually know that this was a thing prior to looking at this, but if you look at the data mine sheet, there's actually a ton of armor mods. Here, if you look at mods, there's a massive amount of armor mods, and then there's armor mods specifically for the classes. So this actually opens like a whole Pandora's box of if you want to use general mods or if you want to use mods specific towards your skills. But I thought that this was interesting, especially because some of the general armor mods, of course it can be used across all the classes, but some of them are also particularly strong. So I thought that was pretty interesting. For some reason, there's no image of the hands for the chrono suit. I don't know why. I just downloaded this straight up from where they sent it to me, but no image of the hands, so sorry about that. But that's pretty much it for the chrono suit. Let's take a look at the next one. This one is the Death Proof. This is the Devastator one with, of course, the Devastator-esque shotgun in hand. Now let's take a look at what the set actually does. So the 3-piece bonus reduces the cooldown of Boulder Dash by 90%. I'd highly recommend looking at what Boulder Dash is, but it's basically an ability that we don't have in the demo yet, with a pretty short cooldown that just does damage and then it does AoE damage afterwards. This build is set, and this is the set that I think is like absolutely insane, but this one of course is going to be built around you just pressing Boulder Dash all the time, and some of the mods for it are actually insane, such as this one. Boulder Dash permanently reduces resistance of all damaged enemies by 50%, so anytime you use Boulder Dash it just reduces their resistance. And then another tier 3 one on the same piece, which I don't know if that's intentional, but that's pretty insane. Primal Chain Gun. Boulder Dash. Every enemy damaged by the skill increases your weapon damage by 20% for 5 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. That seems pretty good. If you hit 5 guys with the Boulder Dash, you just get 100% weapon damage, only for 5 seconds, but still pretty good. Then we'll take a look at the chest here. So just like with the Trickster trying to revolve around 2 skills, this one is going to try to revolve around Boulder Dash and Reflect Bullets. So as you can see, we have an increased duration on Reflect Bullets by 40%. Fairly decent, especially if you use the auto reflect thing paired with it. And then we have Primal Armor. Boulder Dash, double your armor when the skill ends for 10 seconds. Pretty decent survivability. As you can see, a lot of these are going to have like a mix of survivability and damage mixed with them. Taking a look at the leg armor. This is another general mod, which is pretty interesting. This one isn't too good, but it has some interesting implications. Reduce the damage taken from elites by 20%. Nothing too good here. I'd probably slap in a different rank 3 if I was playing this. But we have the auto reflect here. Reflect bullets, you can now fight while the skill is active, but you can't manually deactivate it. So this paired with the additional duration is particularly strong. And then we have the hands here. Kingslayer, this is a very good general mod. Critical hits on an elite increase your firepower by 192. I'd imagine that this doesn't stack, but this seems to be pretty strong. I don't know if you'd ever use this over something else, but again, another general mod that's pretty strong. And then we have bullet acceleration. Reflect bullets increase the damage of reflected bullets by 77. So again, another thing revolving around the reflect bullets. And then we have deathproof footgear. Another general mod, life of the party. Incoming damage is reduced by 5% for each enemy in close range. Stacks up to 8 times. There's a lot of enemies near you. This can be pretty decent for survivability. And then another survivability thing revolving around boulder dash. Each enemy you damage increases your maximum health by 307 for 10 seconds. So you could get a lot of survivability with boulder dash when using this. Now we can take a look at the Pyromancer legendary set. This one actually looks pretty cool. I like that it actually like changes your skin. That's pretty cool, or at least it looks like that for the chest piece. Not necessarily for the hands, but looks pretty cool. For the helmet, it is called Reforged, by the way. So, Cowl of the Reforged, your set is that increases Feed the Flames damage and thermal bomb damage by 50%. So this is actually already by default going to incentivize you to use 2 skills rather than just benefiting from 1 skill. I guess it's kind of how the Trickster one was too. So we have for the first tier 3 mod, Thermal Bomb. Skill can affect 2 targets, pretty good. And then another Thermal Bomb thing that increases the explosion radius by 20%, pretty good. And then we have another Thermal Bomb mod that enemies affected by the skill receive 40% more damage, especially with you being able to put that on 2 guys. That's pretty good if there's like 2 bosses. And then we have a Feed the Flames thing, bullet absorption, replenishes 20% of ammo in your magazine for every enemy affected by the skill. If you can affect a lot of enemies with that, you can get some pretty good ammo replenishment there. And then we have the pants here, kind of like a skirt kilt. Actually, I kind of like the way it looks, but you might not. Flame Grasper, Feed the Flame enables absorption of 2 additional targets. So just like I was saying, if you have it to where Feed the Flames can hit more targets, you benefit a lot from the other mod. And then another Thermal Bomb mod, the skill inflicts burn on every enemy damaged by the explosion. You're getting a lot of value out of this one. And then we have Boots of the Reforged with another general tier 3 mod. Boost your anomaly power by 192 for each elite present on the battlefield. If there's a specific expedition where there's like a ton of elites, this could be very strong. And then another Feed the Flames thing, increases skills range by 100%. Pretty decent there. This set isn't super insane, but I haven't really played a whole lot of Pyro. Maybe if you could get Feed the Flames to be pretty decent. Seems like it could be actually kind of good because Feed the Flames gives you a good amount of survivability and like on-demand healing. But if you're forced to constantly use it all the time for damage, maybe kind of lose out on that on-demand healing. But seems like it'll do a lot of damage paired with all those mods. But of course, you could very easily just swap those out. Now let's take a look at the last set, which is the Technomancer set. I think this is the least cool looking one out of all of them. It kind of just looks like general armor almost, with a little bit of flair to it. The helmet particularly I really don't like. Let's take a look at another image because you can't. It like kind of looks cool, but I don't really like it. Maybe you guys disagree. But what's important is what the armor actually does. So this one is going to be based around your shrapnel ability. So shrapnel creates additional cluster bombs after explosion. It's kind of vague how good this, or I guess ambiguous how good this is actually going to be, but if the additional cluster bombs after the explosion do a good amount of damage, or are, I guess, good, this could be pretty strong. But for the first tier 3 mod on the helmet, we have Fixing Wave, reduces the cooldown by 20%. This is, I don't even actually know what this ability does, but it's a different ability for Technomancer that you don't have unlocked in the demo. But reducing the cooldown of an ability by 20%, I imagine it's going to pair well with this Shrapnel build. At least it seems like it's going to be trying to make that happen. So we'll see if that ends up being any good. And then we have Shrapnel. 1 additional mine can be thrown before triggering the cooldown. This is probably mandatory when playing with this. I'm curious because this is only tier 1. I wonder if you could get this as tier 3 on like a different legendary piece and then put it on this so that it you can throw the mine 3 times or something and then just have a huge bomb build. That could be pretty cool. I guess I could check the spreadsheet to see if that exists, but another Shrapnel one, Trap Cluster, doubles the number of mines that can be thrown before triggering the cooldown. Wait, if you can do... That's very interesting, actually. If you use that with the other thing that allows you to use it again. Is the other one called Trap Cluster 2? No, the other one is called More Traps. That could be... I wonder how that would work. I wonder if this enables you... I wonder if this enables you to use like 4 mines. I'm not sure, but either way, it sounds pretty cool. And then we have Cleansing Wind. Fixing Wave, activating the skill removes all negative statuses from allies and grants 5 seconds of immunity from them. So if there's some statuses, I haven't really seen anything like this before, but this seems to be a pretty helpful like teammate thing to remove statuses. I wonder if it works on you as well, but that seems like, again, going into that survivability aspect seems pretty decent. Here we have a rank 3 general mod. Reviving an ally fully restores their health. This is pretty bad, but I guess interesting. Unfortunate that this is the role for this, but I don't even know for sure that you have fixed roles. I would just imagine that that's how it works, but maybe not. And then we have Scrapnel, just increases skills damage. You definitely want to get this, more damage. I like how it's just very blunt with that one. We got the gloves here. Another rank 3 one. This one actually seems pretty good. Grants 138 firepower and 115 anomaly power bonus on skill activation. So if you can just throw 4 mines out back to back to back and this stacks, that could be very strong. I imagine it wouldn't stack, but either way, getting a constant flow of extra firepower and extra anomaly power seems like it's pretty decent. And then we have fine-tuned. Scrapnel increases the detection and explosion radius by 33%. The explosion radius part of this could be pretty good. I'm not really sure what detection means, but maybe that could be pretty good. And then we have, lastly, the boots. Fixing wave, activating the skill replenishes one weapon magazine for each ally. So again, another ally kind of support type thing here. I would probably swap this out, but maybe if you're using fixing wave all the time paired with like a trickster and you want to, I guess that has a cooldown of 45 seconds. So actually, no, this seems bad almost all the time. But then we have Scrapnel. One additional mine can be thrown again before triggering the cooldown. Now I'm just really confused. I don't know if this... Now, you know what? I'm not even going to try to guess. I imagine that you can't stack all these, but if you can, maybe your whole build just ends up just throwing mines all the time, and then I guess that could be pretty strong, but don't actually know if that's how that works. So yeah, that's going to be it pretty much for the video. Of course, there's way more sets that are going to come. I figured that it would be interesting to just go through all of these sets, because some of them got me really excited, particularly the Devastator one seems to be most impactful. Reducing an ability's cooldown by 90% is very strong, but this one actually could be really strong if it does some good damage. The Trickster one, not too good. The Pyromancer one, if you can actually get Thermal Bomb to do a good amount of damage, that seems pretty strong. But of course, there's way more to come, and these are just what was sent to us. I imagine there's more images floating around that are data mined, but I'm not going to cover those. I figured I would just cover the ones that were sent to me, and just because it gives us, like, just like the legendary guns do, it gives us a glimpse into the system, and it shows us, you know, the potential of these legendary pieces. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys liked the video. I'll probably be making a ton of more Outriders content when the game actually launches. Don't know if there's really anything else for me to cover during the demo, but this is something that I felt was pretty interesting, so figured I would share it with you guys because it got me personally excited. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.